Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's court-ordered settlement ends without settlement, setting stage for high-stakes May trial. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's long-simmering legal battle over what allegedly transpired behind the scenes of It Ends With Us is now headed for a courtroom showdown. On Wednesday, the two actors, once co-stars and creative collaborators, appeared at a federal courthouse in New York for a court-ordered settlement conference aimed at resolving their dispute before trial. The meeting concluded without an agreement, according to individuals familiar with the matter, meaning the case remains on track for a civil trial scheduled to begin May 18th. The failed mediation marks a pivotal moment in one of Hollywood's most closely watched legal clashes of the past year, a dispute that has evolved from allegations of on-set misconduct into a sprawling legal war involving sexual harassment claims, accusations of retaliation, defamation countersuits, and arguments over reputational harm. With no settlement in place, both sides now appear poised to present their cases before a jury. A tense reunion at federal court. Wednesday's conference was significant for more than just its outcome. It marked the first time Lively and Baldoni had reportedly been in the same room since principal photography wrapped on It Ends With Us, the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. Baldoni arrived at the courthouse accompanied by his wife, Emily Baldoni. Lively attended alone. Settlement conferences are often conducted behind closed doors and overseen by a magistrate judge. They are designed to encourage compromise and avoid the cost, risk, and publicity of a full trial. In high-profile cases involving celebrities, these sessions can be particularly delicate, balancing legal exposure with reputational considerations. Despite hours of negotiations, no resolution was reached. Neither side publicly commented immediately following the conference, but the lack of settlement signals that the divide between the parties remains substantial. The origins of the dispute. The legal conflict began in December 2024 when Lively filed a lawsuit against Baldoni, who not only co-starred opposite her in It Ends With Us, but also directed the film through his production company, Wayfarer Studios. In her complaint, Lively alleged that Baldoni engaged in conduct during production that amounted to sexual harassment. She further claimed that after she raised concerns about his alleged behavior, he retaliated against her. Among the most serious elements of her filing was the allegation that Baldoni and members of his team orchestrated a smear campaign designed to undermine her credibility and damage her career. According to the complaint, that alleged campaign had tangible professional and financial consequences. Baldoni has denied the allegations. At the time the lawsuit was filed, the case sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. It Ends With Us had been one of the most anticipated adaptations of the year, drawing intense fan interest given Hoover's massive readership. The legal claims added an unexpected and dramatic layer to the film's rollout and legacy. Allegations of retaliation and reputational harm. Central to Lively's case is the claim that speaking out about alleged misconduct triggered retaliation. Retaliation claims in workplace harassment cases typically hinge on whether an individual suffered adverse professional consequences after reporting or objecting to inappropriate conduct. In Hollywood, such consequences can be complex, affecting casting opportunities, brand partnerships, public image, and future projects. Lively's filing contends that the alleged retaliatory actions extended beyond the production itself and into public-facing damage to her reputation. She claims that Baldoni and his associates took deliberate steps to portray her in a negative light. Her legal team has argued that the reputational impact affected her career trajectory and financial standing, a key factor in potential damages should the case proceed to trial and a jury find in her favor. Baldoni's attorneys have rejected those claims, maintaining that the lawsuit lacks factual basis sufficient to establish a legally actionable hostile work environment. Baldoni's $400 million countersuit. The conflict escalated dramatically in January 2025 when Baldoni filed a $400 million countersuit against Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and others. In that countersuit, Baldoni alleged defamation, extortion, and related claims. The filing argued that the accusations leveled against him were not only false but intentionally damaging. The size of the countersuit, $400 million, underscored the stakes involved. High-dollar defamation claims in the entertainment industry are often as much about restoring public standing as they are about monetary recovery. However, in June 2025, a judge dismissed Baldoni's countersuit. The dismissal was a significant legal development. While Baldoni retains the option to appeal the ruling, the court's dismissal narrowed the scope of the case moving forward, leaving Lively's original claims as the primary focus of the upcoming trial. Legal observers noted that dismissal of a countersuit does not necessarily speak to the truth of underlying allegations, but can indicate deficiencies in legal theory, pleading standards, or evidentiary sufficiency at that stage of litigation. The battle over dismissal motions. The legal wrangling did not end there. In November, Baldoni and his legal team filed a motion asking the court to dismiss Lively's sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit. In their filing, they described her allegations as a litany of minor grievances that, in their view, failed to demonstrate the existence of an objectively hostile work environment. The phrase objectively hostile is a critical legal standard in harassment law. Courts typically assess whether a reasonable person would find the work environment abusive or hostile, not solely whether the plaintiff personally felt uncomfortable or distressed. Lively's legal team forcefully opposed the motion. In their response, her attorneys accused Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios of attempting to avoid accountability and argued that the evidence supports moving forward to trial. In their latest effort to avoid accountability for the hostile environment they created during the production and marketing of It Ends With Us, Lively's attorneys wrote, they asked this court to shield them from trial and deny Blake Lively her day in court. The court has not fully dismissed Lively's claims, which is why the case now advances towards trial. What's at stake in May? With jury selection scheduled for May 18th, the case now enters a new phase, preparation for public examination of evidence, testimony, and competing narratives. Civil trials involving high-profile entertainment figures often become spectacles, even when judges impose limitations on cameras or public access. Media coverage can shape public perception long before a verdict is reached. For Lively, the trial represents an opportunity to present her allegations in full before a jury. For Baldoni, it offers a forum to challenge those claims and defend his reputation. Potential outcomes range widely. The parties could still settle before trial. The court could rule on pending motions that narrow issues. A jury could find for one side or the other. Damages, if awarded, could vary significantly. Civil harassment cases frequently hinge on witness credibility, contemporaneous communications, and patterns of behavior. Emails, text messages, call sheets, internal memos, and production records could all become evidence.
Beyond the individuals involved, the case touches on broader issues in the entertainment industry. Hollywood has undergone significant scrutiny over workplace culture in recent years. Allegations of harassment, power imbalances, and retaliation have prompted changes in studio policies, reporting mechanisms, and contractual safeguards. A trial involving a major studio production and prominent actors could reignite conversations about on-set oversight, producer and director authority, reporting channels for misconduct, reputation management tactics, the role of public relations in legal disputes. If the case proceeds publicly, it may also shed light on how studios handle internal complaints during large-scale productions. The role of Wayfarer Studios. Wayfarer Studios, Baldoni's production company and a co-producer of It Ends With Us, is also named in aspects of the litigation. Corporate liability in harassment cases can depend on whether the alleged harasser was acting within the scope of employment and whether the company took appropriate steps to prevent or address misconduct. Lively's complaint suggests institutional responsibility. Baldoni's team disputes that characterization. The outcome could have ramifications not only for Baldoni personally, but also for his company's future projects and partnerships. Public image versus legal strategy. Both Lively and Baldoni entered this dispute with established public personas. Lively has long been viewed as a fashion icon and box office presence, with a strong social media following and multiple brand affiliations. Baldoni has cultivated a public image centered around vulnerability, emotional intelligence, and discussions of modern masculinity. Legal battles can reshape public narratives. Even before a verdict, the existence of allegations can alter professional trajectories. Attorneys in high-profile cases often must weigh courtroom arguments against public relations considerations. Statements and filings become news headlines. Language choices can influence perception. As the trial approaches, both sides are likely to calibrate not only their legal tactics, but also their broader messaging. The possibility of appeal. Although Baldoni's countersuit was dismissed in June 2025, he retains the option to appeal that decision. Appeals can extend litigation timelines significantly. However, appeals do not typically pause separate claims unless ordered by the court. As it stands, Lively's lawsuit remains active and on track for trial. If either party loses at trial, additional appeals could follow, prolonging the dispute. The emotional dimension. Civil litigation involving allegations of harassment is often deeply personal. For plaintiffs, trials can mean relive distressing experiences under cross-examination. For defendants, the proceedings can feel like a public referendum on character. The fact that Wednesday's meeting marked the first time the actors had reportedly been in the same room since filming wrapped underscores the emotional weight of the situation. Courtrooms are adversarial spaces. Former collaborators must now confront each other as legal opponents. Could settlement still happen? Even though Wednesday's meeting ended without agreement, settlement remains possible at any stage. Many civil cases resolve on the eve of trial, when the financial and reputational risks become clearest. Jury unpredictability can motivate compromise. Settlement terms in celebrity cases often include confidentiality provisions, non-disparagement clauses, and financial payments without admission of wrongdoing. If no agreement is reached, however, May could bring one of the entertainment industry's most closely watched trials of the year. A film overshadowed. It Ends With Us, adapted from a novel that explores themes of love, trauma, and difficult relationships, was meant to be a cinematic milestone. Instead, its legacy is now intertwined with litigation. For fans of the book and the film, the behind-the-scenes dispute has complicated the narrative surrounding the project. The case also serves as a reminder that major productions involve complex hierarchies, intense schedules, and high-pressure environments, conditions that can amplify conflict when disputes arise. The road ahead. As of now, the calendar is clear, May 18th. Between now and then, attorneys will conduct final discovery, prepare witness lists, file pretrial motions, and negotiate evidentiary boundaries. If the trial proceeds, juries will be tasked with evaluating sharply divergent accounts of what happened during the production of It Ends With Us and what happened afterward. For Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the next chapter of this conflict will unfold not on a film set but in a federal courtroom. And unless a last-minute agreement intervenes, the story will move from private negotiations to public testimony, where evidence, not headlines, will ultimately carry the most weight.